French couple, and I'm a professional troublemaker. I work in several non-governmental organizations, associations. And one of the things I contributed modestly to this book is this magazine, in which you see many of the ideas discussed here, enriched, and other things are into this magazine, which is in French, English, and Portuguese. I think I would like to start my intervention by replying to the question of this gentleman in front of me. He said that he asked the question as to, isn't there something good in this movement for universal health? And I think his question is right, fits into the international debate within the UN. The resolution that was introduced, in the United Nations on December 12, 2012, 3 months ago, is a resolution that was put together by people from France in the health department who share our beliefs in universal protection. People from Brazil who share our ideas on universal protection. And people from Thailand who share our ideas on protection. And British people from Senegal. So if you read the resolution, the initial resolution is pretty good. However, to get it passed into the United Nations, considering all the movement on the bottom coverage, which has been discussed earlier, had to be amended. It had to be transformed. So if you read carefully the resolution, it can go either way. It can go our way, or it can go our enemies. Exactly along the lines of the resolution says we don't want user fees. I mean, those of us who fought, I worked in Africa for many years, we fought for years against user fees. We said user fees means the poor cannot have access to health care. The resolution said no for user fees, but then it says we can either have a redistributive mechanism, in other words, the kind of social protection that we are fighting for, or there could be mechanism of supporting the poor. This is the target. Read the resolution, you'll see the two things side by side. Now, if we go back to targeting, what exactly does it mean? You know what? Some years ago, I was asked to present at the UN meeting on disability. I was asked to make an argument to include disability within the Millennium Development Goals. So I had some months to prepare. I decided that I would do my job well. And I would really dig and read all the hundreds and hundreds of documents that were the policy documents for states on the implication of the carrying out implementation of the Millennium Development Goals. And what I found for specific countries like Tanzania and other countries was that the recommendation for the MDG were the same exact formulas and recipes as structural adjustment. It was structural adjustment in a nice box. That's what it was. So you know, now if you have a child and you go to the supermarket and the child goes and sees this big toy, big huge box and says, wow, this is the child really wants it. So after the child whines and screams and so on, you pay $300 to buy this box, this big box, Zorro. So Zorro's outfit. And when the kid goes home, he opens the box, put everything out of the box and plays with the box.
Vous allez acheter et
And
tu rentres à la
I'm
maison.
afraid this is what the MDG salesperson have done to us. They have taken structural adjustment and wrapped it up as assistance to the poor, and then they sold it to the market. I have news for you. It's the same in every health field. AIDS is the same thing. I remember talking with the former head of Upham, about the Global Fund. You know, that was 12 years ago. We were saying the Global Fund for AIDS, TB, malaria is the way that the World Bank wants to destroy healthcare systems in countries. We are going to put countries on the door. This is what Davos wants. What big corporations want is to control.
C'est comme ça aussi qu'ils ont fonctionné.
So now, what we're doing, we're replacing the Millennium Development
Qu'est-ce qu'ils
Goals
ont? Ils font maintenant
by universal health coverage.
les OMD.
And what the way Ireland is wanted, they want it in terms of charity for the very poor, while the macroeconomic policies are policies of destruction of the labor force. Whether you're from Korea, from Brazil, from France, the order of the day is to destroy the power of labor. It's to destroy the real physical economy. That's what the open market means. The open market is something that is totally unsustainable. The open market is the way forward. It's headed into war and fascism that will make World War II look like a piece of cake. We are in a crisis which I think is underestimated in the NGO media. We don't realize how serious this situation is. It's dramatic. Now, if I go back to health, because this is my talk today, I'm an economist, but my talk's on health. Health, who is it? Why is there so much interest in health today? Not because they want to help people to do better, not because they want better workers. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that health management organizations, such as in the US, private sector selling healthcare, and medical-related corporations, whether it's the pharmaceutical industry or the medical-related industry, is the most profitable sector in the world after the military industry. If you have a situation in which all health is private, and you can use health to manipulate population in this or that direction, provide this or that, then it's very much linked to the drive for global governance, getting rid of national sovereignty. And I'm not exaggerating. I would encourage you to read the incredible gibberish, incredible nonsense that is put out by Julio Frank. Julio Frank is the former health minister of Mexico. And he's a candidate now. He hopes to become the next Director General of the WHO. And he wrote an amazing article. He's not the only one, but his article is saying the following: that the obstacle to good health governance on a global basis is the sovereignty of nations. That's what he says in that. What does that mean? I may remind you that Julia Frank was the candidate of the United States of America under Bush, because Bush wanted Julia Frank to become head of the WHO. That's the fact. All these extreme liberalism in health in the WHO is linked to Julia Frank. Julia Frank happens to be today the Dean of Harvard School of Public Health. Do you know something about Harvard? I'll tell you an inside story about Harvard. Do you know I live next to Geneva and always the WHO all the time? You know, in WHO, there is a law that there must be equal geographical representation. Okay, normally you must have people from Senegal, you must have people from Guinea, you must have people from Brazil, and you must have people from America. Well, I've got news for you. The WHO is totally democratic. Totally. Everybody, whether they come from Guinea-Bissau, from Samoa, from Peru, from Brazil, from the USA, they all have a Harvard degree.
Ils ont tous une licence de Harvard.
They all have a Harvard degree or maybe Oxford sometimes. But I exaggerate, but that's about 70%. The top staff.
J'exagère. Environ 70% sont des diplômés de Harvard.
I mean, on my father's side, my family, came out of Harvard, so I can tell you about their names. But that's what it is, and that's the framework. And last year, for the first time, Harvard put out a document on non-communicable disease. Supposed to be big money, we all people with a lot of money on their back. Well, who do you think Harvard allied itself with to produce the world global report on non-communicable disease?
Ce rapport.
And this year we have had two UN summits on non-communicable disease. Anybody has the idea? Who did Harvard work with?
A été l'allié d'Harvard.
Anybody knows?
Des idées?
No? Nobody knows? Davos. The Davos, the World Economic Forum.
C'était son
The World Economic Forum. It was the first time ever the Harvard School of Public Health published
la première fois que
a major document on health with the World Economic Forum.
sur la santé.
So if you go back and you look at the perspective of the World Economic Forum,
Les perspectives.
and I will end here just in a couple of words. They are talking about the Global Redesign Initiative. The Global Redesign Initiative involves everything: climate change, environment, social policy, health. And the Global Redesign Initiative is meant to be global governance on health. Governance, liberal, democracy, do this. What we're going to do, we're going to say, is a Global Redesign Initiative. I have some quotes there from they have set up a Global Agenda Council. They are better organized than the World Social Forum. They have an agenda, okay? They've set up a global healthcare systems and corporation, okay? Which so this system has worked with Davos. Is working with Davos to put in place a process to create an institutional architecture. The tools are mostly accounting tools. We're going to measure everything, we're going to measure the costs, we're going to create control, then practical implementation to address the lack of global accountability for health risk. I'm sorry, shouldn't go into that because it's too complicated. But one last word to explain it. I can't explain it in 2 minutes. One last word. The way that the World Bank and Davos are selling their the way we reorganize is always wrapped up. Remember the Trojan horse aspect, the big box. They want to set up as equity. They say, well, if we leave out the poor, it's not equitable. If we take on this population but not that population, it's not equitable. So in Europe right now, they're saying, well, children allowances for big families, this is not equitable, right? Because the wealthy, they take that as pocket money, and the poor really need it. Therefore, we should not have we shouldn't have des allocations familiales pour les riches. Les riches n'ont pas besoin des allocations familiales. Only the poor need it. So they're saying we should do that. And then they're saying we shouldn't spend large amounts of money for the elderly who have means. We should take their castle, their property, rather than have a state pay for wealthy people's healthcare when they get old, and it's very expensive for the
L'État
system.
ne prend pas payer pour les
They sell that in the name of equity. They're saying inequitable.
Ils le
And
font
what are they doing?
au nom.
They're destroying the principle of equality.
En fait, ils sont en train de détruire ce principe.
No. And as somebody coming from France, I can tell you, we're very keen on that. Equality and equity can be opposite.
L'égalité est vite.
Because in a universal system, what you have is that everybody is equal. The extent to which the middle class indeed have a funding, participating into your social security system is the extent to which the country as a whole will be funded.
Système de sécurité.
Once you have a poor system for the poor, middle class, they couldn't give a damn about it. You have
Vous
USA,
avez un système pauvre.
you have America, in which there's nothing
Les
from
riches
the
ne
poor.
vont pas y contribuer, ça les intéresse.
There's nothing from the poor. It's every man for himself. If you want to create a society, a state,
Si vous voulez
which has notion of common good, you need to have everybody participating in the part according to their means
l'intérêt
and receiving
général,
according to their
doit
needs.
participer
That's
selon
the
ses moyens et
basis.
recevoir en fonction de ses
And
besoins.
another basis to
Ça, c'est la
that
base.
is you need, and I'm strong, arguing for that in the NGO, you need full employment. You cannot, I don't think, that I noted in one of your papers for Brasilia, you reminded everybody that Keynes, who fought against the kind of austerity policy implemented in Europe today, Keynes who fought against that, who fought for public works, who was inspired by Veblen. Everybody forgot. People remember Karl Marx, but people don't remember Veblen, who was another great socialist thinker in economics. And Keynes established the universal state-backed social security system in Great Britain, the Beveridge. We know it in Europe as the Beveridge system, but it's the Beveridge pension system. And it was within the context of going for full employment. I mean, after the war, England was not in a situation of full employment, but as you say yourself, in 55 already, England had full employment. Because if you don't put it, and that's very important, because today in Europe, we are, what you mentioned, we're going into the competition. So they're saying, oh, your industry is not competitive with, we're closing down our factories, they're being moved to Morocco. After Morocco, they will move to Malaysia, after they will move to China or something, right? I mean, if we don't have protection
Il n'y a pas de protection.
in each country of our own local industry,
Dans chaque pays,
some modicum of protection,
il faut avoir
then
un niveau minimum de protection.
it's the race to the bottom, because you can always find somebody who work for a low wage than you will. Except if you introduce a system where the economy will collapse. I remember a rather interesting report from the ILO 3 years ago who said that the biggest increase worldwide was slavery. So I think that in this fight for universal social protection,
Dans cette lutte,
we are fighting for the future of the human race, and we shouldn't forget that. Thank you.